Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the channel. I'll tell you one thing, guys. It's a hot day today here in Gotham City, and it's probably a bit warm where you are too. I'd say it's well over 30 degrees here today, so it's a hot one for the virtually almost the start of autumn here in Australia. So I just thought I'd call in here and have a bit of a look how things are going in this spot here. I'm on the Vespa GTS. Haven't been on that bike now for I think when I checked back on my records, around about 6 weeks was the last time I put up a clip on it. So I just thought I'd just took my glasses off when I'm walking along here, because tell you what, hasn't it dried out and the grass grown since I was here last? So if we look around here now, one has to be very careful where they walk around here. So to give you an idea, back here in this creek area, so what we got here is one of the good trout streams around here. So in this stream here you can pick up rainbow, brook, and what's the other one they got? Rainbow, oh yeah, brown trout. So you got rainbow, brook, brown, and you know, they come out here and they catch quite a few of them too. So as far as that goes, that's as far as we go in the creek. When we get out here on the side of the banks, say in this part here, just on the outskirts of the bank within the first 20 or 30 feet, that's where you're liable to bump into a red-bellied black snake. That'd be more like that. Now, you can see they've been coming up through here, so they do a fair bit of fishing. So see straight ahead here, you can see the track running through that high grass. I wouldn't walk in there with bloody sneakers on because it's a risky area. So, like I said, you know, very close to the water, you usually bump into a red-bellied black snake with a, if you're unlucky. And let's say further out that way, you know, 30 or 50 metres out, then you're liable to run into the eastern brown snake. Now, they're the ones that'll make you pack it. So, you know, if you get nabbed by a red-bellied black snake, I suppose the worst that could happen is, well, the best thing about it, you'll get to hospital and they'll kill you. And so you get the chance to get there. And more importantly, you know, the only drawback is if you get bit by one of those, well, they've got some sort of toxin and that in their poison, which can eventually, what would you say, the bite area could go gangrene, and then eventually, you know, depends on your DNA, you know, whether or not you go further and have to have a lot of work done on you there in hospital over a period of time, or whether or not you might lose a limb, one or the other. So that's the worst part that can happen if red-bellied black bites you. Or, you know, you might get out of it just being a bit sick for a while and nothing. But totally different story if a eastern brown bites you. If you get one of those, and we call it a wet bite, not a dry bite, geez, you've got to get straight to hospital as quick as you can, get an antivenin and hopefully get out of it in one piece. But the strange thing about it, like I said, out around that way, up that way, you're more liable to run into an eastern brown. Down here, red-bellied black. But if you get into a situation like that, the brown, which is second feared snake of Australia and possibly the world, the interesting thing about that one is that brown snake, if he comes down here near the water and runs into a red-bellied black, that red-bellied black will eat him. So the brown can't be sort of, you know, think he's kingpin down here, because the poison he carries doesn't affect the red-bellied black. So that's the way it goes. Let's get back here onto the scooter side now. Like I said, I haven't been on this scooter now for, I think it was mid-January the last time I went for a ride on this. Now, look at this, I haven't got my camera with me today, or my still camera. Geez, that would have been a good shot. I'll just hold it there. Look at that, that would have been perfect, but no digital camera with me. So what I was going to say about this scooter, if you're in the market and you want to buy yourself a Vespa and you've been riding motorbikes, the first thing you're going to notice with this when you get on it, and like I did today after a 6-week break, when you get onto them, they feel a little bit unstable and they wobble a bit, you know, like when you first get on and take off. Now, like compared to a normal motorbike with a 19-inch front wheel, 18-inch rear, So if you were into normal motorbikes and jumped on one of these first off, you might say, no, I couldn't ride this. But the fact is that's only with these ones, and after you've been riding 15 or 20 kilometres or something like that, you forget about all that and just enjoy the ride and how fun they are, and how particularly this 300cc bike travels along the road with ease at 100 kilometres an hour. So that's a good point in that way. So, you know, don't be thrown off if you get on one. You've got to give them a chance. So you've got to get on there, ride them. You'll find it might be a little bit wobbly at times if you get it with side wind or stuff like that, but you'll find with this new GTS 300 23 model that it'll run over bumps and that quite easy, and with no drama. So look at this here, look how high this grass is now. What sort of idiot would want to walk in this stuff? One that sort of thinks to themselves, I've got nothing to live for, because if you go looking or walking around in there, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. So, you know, once again, back to this side of it. Yeah, so the scooter runs along really well at 100 kilometres an hour, and it's a nice looking scooter. Geez, I'm a bit disappointed I never brought me out the camera, because I could have smashed off a few good shots here of this profile of the bike here, but that is the way it goes. Now, I've done now a bit over 2,000 Ks on this bike, about 2250 I think, and like I said, it's really running well, and no drama whatsoever, never had any problems. I've been asked a couple of times by different people, do I plan on taking it off road? And the answer to that one would be no. And the reasons being, for one, you know, they cost quite a lot of money for a scooter, you know, 13,500 to get onto one of these. So that's one reason. Number two is, if you do take it off road and do any damage to it, in my case, I've got a 500 kilometre round trip to the dealer, so I'd have to take it back to a dealer, leave the bike there, get the parts for it, fix it, and you know, hopefully go back and do it again. So I'd be looking long term at a 1,000 kilometre round trip on a double run. And more importantly, number three would be, look, I've just got better rides that I can go out there and ride dirt roads and stuff like that compared to this, because I reckon this would be a bit of a terror riding along on dirt roads. No doubt you could do it, but you might be able to do it if you haven't got options. And, you know, I've got 4 other options to decide which way I want to ride. And, you know, when you've got the options here, why would you get out and punish yourself on this bike when you can get out on, I suppose, Classic 350 Reborn if you want. It runs dirt all right. The Suzuki new one, 250SX, it's really good on dirt. Had it out there the other day. And I suppose if I got really desperate, I could get on that Grom too. So, you know, the only one I haven't sort of had to give it a bit of work is that GB350. So, but I think if anything, it'll be the Suzuki SX250, which will be the dirt road runner and set up for dirt later on. But if you, you know, like not into that sort of thing and you just want a good little mobile machine to ride around on, well, there's nothing wrong with this Vespa, because it's got a fairly comfortable seat to sit on, like actually pretty good really. And, you know, everything else is good. It's fairly smooth to ride, like not much, very little vibration in it, and nice instrumentation. So it's got everything going for it that you want, and it's more importantly, it's got the power to push you along at 100 kilometres an hour with no trouble whatsoever. Probably about, hard to say, but would only be half throttle or something. No, it wouldn't even be half, it'd only be third throttle if that. Somewhere between a quarter and a third at 100. Now, one thing about it's a bit misleading. See this here? This mud heap. Sometimes you can come into here and this is just full of water. But what you don't realise is how deep these four-wheel drive tracks are, what they've been running through. And if you come along here and on your bike and thought, I'll go through for a water splash, pretty good chance you're going to go on your ass, I'd say, because it is really deep in this section here, back down in this hollow here. And, you know, you could find yourself, you know the old Pretty Woman one, big mistake. So, you know, that's what could happen in that one. Geez, I would like to have gone a bit closer to this water here and have a look, but, you know, over the years walking around these banks, everything can be going all right. Then you look down and there's a bloody large black or large brown, and this area I'm in is prime area to do that. So, you know, especially on a hot day like this, because they just lay there until you almost walk on them, and then that's when your legs buckle. In other words, you shit yourself. So and I noticed too, coming down this little track from the main road over there to here, that, you know, the scooter, it's all right if you go slow, you know, like take it easy. I might hook up the camera on the way back and see how they go out, but, you know, it's not one you'd want to go out there and give it a really hard life, and it's too good a scooter to do that too. One thing I might be planning on doing, I did say earlier on I was going to do a trip down memory lane going back to, I don't know, 50 odd years ago when I used to, no, 60 years ago when I was a kid and used to go to the shop, and I was going to take the Classic 350 Reborn, but, you know, once this weather cools down, that's what I was thinking, because in the beginning I said I'd do 10 clips on the GB 350, so I've completed that side of it. I've done the 10 clips so I can jump onto something else. What I found in those earlier days, that you know, I think I got a couple of good stories there I can tell and put it all together, but I think I might go on this Vespa, and this is the reason why. Every time I go out in a Classic 350, I'm sort of, somebody pulls up and it annoys me when I'm doing a clip or putting it together. I lose concentration and have trouble regrouping and getting back to how I was telling the review or anything like that, and that's always a problem with the Classic 350, because if they see it, everyone likes to look at it because it's an old bike. Now, as far as this one goes, I haven't had anyone come up and say, geez, I like that Vespa, or I want one of those. They don't take much notice of a scooter rider, and I reckon this would be a better bike or scooter to get under the radar to go to those places, because no one wants to really come over and do a talk to you about that scooter. So I sort of class this scooter more like the days when, it reminded me once, similar sort of thing, I don't know, back in the 90s when I was only 70. Oh, well, I was really 40, but I probably felt like I was 70. I bought this Mercedes, and, you know, there's a couple of things, and this happened on this bike here too. I might as well swing that one there too, or this scooter in the early stages when I got it and never said nothing about it. Now, I got this Mercedes, I bought this Mercedes and just thought I was just it driving around, you know, I was about 42 or something like that, you know. And I was out there driving it along one day, and we were in a double lane, and I pull up at a traffic light, and I thought I was going to give it a bit of a workout and take off really quick, you know, because at 40 I wouldn't say you're that mature. Oh, well, I wasn't, still not. But I got there and I was about ready to take off, and the other car, there was two cars in the other line, other laneway, and the person in the back rolled down their window, and it was a girl, probably around about, I don't know, 11, 13, something like that. Rolled the window, or I suppose it would have been power window. Zoomed it down anyway, regardless. Looked over to me, give me the L sign from her forehead, in other words, loser. And I'll never forget that one. And believe it or not long ago I copped the same thing when I bought this scooter. So you wouldn't believe both those machines. One Mercedes, you know, pretty good one. And this one here, the Vespa, both white, both got the L, or both I got the L, so a bit of a strange one, you know. I've had a lot of cars and bikes and that, but I've never copped the sort of hand gestures like I have once on this one and once on the Mercedes. So, I don't know, it just must attract people or young ones who think you're an outright loser, which on a good day I probably am, so it doesn't matter much. But I thought that was a bit funny on that line, and I think this side, as far as this one goes, well, I think it'll be perfect to put into that line, and I can go around. No one will take any notice of me. I won't have to talk to anyone about it. I can put something together, you know, and I suppose if you really would have preferred on the Classic 350 Reborn, I can always put the sound effects of the exhaust over the Classic 350 or over the Vespa clip, and you can kid your watching. I'm just looking in the water to see if there's any trout, because I know anything about trout, they can sort of sit themselves in water just a few inches deep, and they just sit there waiting for something to come along. So I think that's about all on it we can do now. Like that would be good enough. What I might do now is I'll give you a rough idea what's going on and what isn't, and once again, I'm very happy with this. Really nice fit and finish on this Vespa, so too good a scooter to go out and give it a hard life, I think. But you know, like the fit and finish and the way it is, you know, some people like them, some don't, but I don't mind it myself, so we'll go from there. So what we'll do is, I think I'll get back on the bike and I'll take a couple of, I'll set up my other camera and I'll do a shot mobile on the way back, just to compensate for no mobile shots on the way out. So once again, thanks for tuning in, take a look, see what you think of these shots that we're running along. I've still got a bit of battery life and a bit of SD cards, so I might as well use it and we'll see what happens. And until then, catch you later.